November 2026. That's the date now circulating across headlines, forums, and social media. The moment humanity is said to make first contact with an ancient alien civilization. The source isn't a government leak. It isn't a whistleblower. It's a blind mystic who died nearly 30 years ago. Before you dismiss that or believe it, there's something you need to understand about where the story actually comes from.
This is Beyond the Map.
Before we talk about spacecraft, alien contact, or the year 2026, we need to establish something clearly. This episode of Beyond the Map is not here to dismiss this prophecy, and it's not here to validate it either. It's here to slow the story down, examine what it is and where it comes from, and give you enough context to decide for yourself. Recently, a familiar name has resurfaced, tied to claims about humanity's future and contact beyond this earth. The name is Baba Vanga. Baba Vanga was born in 1911 in what is now Bulgaria. After losing her eyesight as a child, she later became known locally as a mystic. According to later accounts and stories passed down by those around her, at around the age of 13, Baba Vanga was said to have been caught in a violent whirlwind. She was reportedly lifted into the air and thrown into a nearby field. After a lengthy search, she was found covered in dirt, rocks, and tree branches, and her eyes were injured in the incident. They were filled with dust and sand, and it caused her intense pain and, unfortunately, permanent damage. These details come from family recollections and regional accounts, not from contemporary medical or weather records. Her injuries required several surgeries, but her family could not afford to complete the treatments, and she gradually lost her sight. In 1925, a couple of years later, she was taken to a school for the blind, where she learned Braille, how to play the piano, and to perform everyday tasks. Baba Vanga returned to her family home. She's said to have developed the ability to heal and to soothsay, or predict the future. As word spread, people sought her out. They traveled from great distances to see her, seeking guidance, insight, and predictions about their future. Over time, her reputation grew, and she became associated with statements about wars and natural disasters, political change, and humanity's long-term trajectory. Many believe she possessed real foresight, and others believe her legacy has been shaped by interpretation after the fact. Well, those perspectives deserve some space here on Beyond the Map. Supporters of Baba Vanga often point to a list of major world events that she's believed to have predicted. Among those commonly cited are the death of Princess Diana, the September 11th attacks in the United States, the Mumbai terror attacks, China's rise to global power, and more recently, the escalating conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and the March 2025 earthquake in Myanmar. When listed like this, a pattern feels striking. For many people, these apparent hits are the reason her name continues to circulate decades after her death. Here's where careful examination matters. There's no original document containing the Baba Vanga prophecies. She didn't write them down. She didn't publish a book. She didn't leave behind verified recordings or timestamped transcripts. Everything attributed to her mostly comes from secondhand accounts. It's recollections from family members, including her niece, Krasimira Stoyanova, as well as followers and visitors who sought her out. Many of these accounts were recorded after her death in 1996. That doesn't mean they're fabricated, but it does mean they are not primary sources. There's another layer to understand here. Many statements attributed to Baba Vanga are symbolic, broadly worded, references to destruction, failing structures, rising powers, global upheaval. Language like this can be interpreted in many ways. And when a major event occurs, earlier statements are often revisited and reinterpreted to fit what has already happened. This doesn't require deception. It's a natural human process. Predictions that appear to align are repeated. Predictions that don't align quietly disappear. And over time, what survives is not a full record. It's like a highlight reel. At the same time, it's important to say this clearly. The absence of original documentation does not automatically invalidate Baba Vanga's experiences or her insights. Human history is filled with figures who their teachings are preserved orally long before they were written down. It's entirely possible that Baba Vanga perceived patterns that others could not. It's also possible that her legacy has been shaped by memory, belief, and timing. Both possibilities can exist at the same time. About her 2026 claim, the claim circulating now suggests that Baba Vanga foresaw a large spacecraft arriving on Earth in November of 2026. This specific claim does not appear in the early compilations of her statements, and there's no verified pre-event record that I can find that supports it. In more recent retellings of this story, her alleged visions have been paraphrased in language like this: that beings not born of the earth would descend between 2026 and 2027, not of flesh, but of shimmering essence, ancient travelers woven from knowledge older than the stars, beings described as possessing a higher reason, a form of intelligence untouched by human fear or desire. Well, that language reflects modern paraphrase and interpretation, and it's not a verified quotation. The claim appears instead to be a modern construction, one emerging during a period of heightened interest in UAPs, government disclosure, and non-human intelligence in general. And that timing matters. Separate from prophecy, it's worth noting the broader cultural movement we're in. Recently, Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market, listed a 12% chance that alien existence would be officially acknowledged before 2027. There have also been reports that U.S. President Donald Trump has been briefed on UAP-related matters, though the details of that remain classified and, in some places, contested. None of this confirms the prophecy, but it does help explain why stories like this resurface when they do. Whether Baba Vanga was prophetic, intuitive, symbolic, or misunderstood, one thing's clear. Stories like this gain traction when trust in institutions weakens. Distrust of government on the topic of UAPs, well, it's higher than it's ever been. And when technology advances faster than our understanding does, well, look at AI and the emergence of all of the artificial intelligence we're using now. When the long-held explanations no longer feel complete, those of us that have followed this topic for many years are tired of being told it's swamp gas or it's Venus when objects appear to defy known physics. In times like these, prophecy doesn't just speak to the future, it speaks to the present. So here's where I'll leave this. There is no original document proving Baba Vanga predicted these events in advance. There's also no definitive way to rule out the possibility that she perceived something real in her own way. What exists instead is a story, carried forward by memory, by belief, by interpretation, and by timing. Whether you see that as foresight, coincidence, cultural pattern making, or something else entirely, that decision belongs to you. My role is simply to ask where the story comes from and why it's being told now. I'm Buddy T, and this has been Beyond the Map Field Notes about Baba Vanga. We'll keep asking better questions, and if you like our strange stories, please subscribe and like us here. See you soon.